The 20-car grid for the 2025 FIA Formula One World Championship season is officially set. It comes nearly 2 weeks after the conclusion of a competitive 2024 season that featured 7 different competitors achieving at least one Grand Prix victory throughout the 24-race schedule, 5 teams finishing within 77 points of one another in the midfield region, and a season-ending split celebration of the drivers' and constructors' titles between 2 championship-winning teams. Within the 20-car grid for the 2025 season, 3/10 of the field will feature competitors who are set to embark on maiden full-time F1 campaigns. In addition, half of the entries will be occupied by new names, as a bevy of familiar faces are set to embark on new beginnings with new teams to call home for next season. Lastly, all but 2 of the current 10 teams on the grid will feature at least one new name to their driver roster when a new racing season commences. This video will be an abbreviated version of the original article, so please head over to speedwaymedia.com to read the entire story. The team that currently reigns supreme among the remaining 9 is the McLaren Formula One team, which will retain its current driver lineup featuring Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri for a second consecutive season. Dubbed the second-best organization in F1, the papaya-colored team capped off the 2024 season as the top organization on the grid as it achieved its 9th Constructors' Championship by 14 points over Ferrari. The championship, which was a first for McLaren since 1998, comes amid career-best years for Norris and Piastri, both of whom notched multiple Grand Prix victories throughout the season and notched a combined 666 points, despite Norris falling short of claiming the Drivers' Championship by 63 points. Sir Lewis Hamilton initially signed a 2-year contract extension to remain with the Mercedes-AMG Petronas F1 team through the 2025 season. In August 2023, he exercised a break clause in his contract by signing up for Ferrari on a multi-year basis this past February, making the 2024 season his final campaign with Mercedes. For the 2025 season, Hamilton, who continues his pursuit for a record 8th championship, will compete alongside new teammate Charles Leclerc, who has been competing with the Prancing Horse organization since 2019 and inked a contract extension this past January to remain with the team beyond the 2024 season. Oracle Red Bull Racing generated mixed results for the 2024 F1 season. The good news is that Max Verstappen defended his series title for a 4th consecutive season with a season high of 9 victories. The organization dropped to 3rd place in the final constructors' standings and could not reclaim the team title by 77 points. Sergio Perez endured a difficult 2024 season, going winless for the first time since 2019. He settled in 8th place in the drivers' standings. Perez would depart the organization on December 18th. Currently, Perez remains uncertain of his racing plans for next season. Red Bull announced the promotion of Liam Lawson to partner alongside Verstappen. Lawson spent the previous 3 seasons as a reserve driver for Red Bull Racing and the Visa Cash App Racing Bulls F1 team. He will become the 13th competitor to compete in an F1 Grand Prix event while representing Red Bull. With the departure of Sir Lewis Hamilton, the Mercedes-AMG Petronas F1 team has elevated newcomer Andrea Kimi Antonelli to pilot Hamilton's Mercedes entry for the 2025 season. Antonelli, a former champion in Italian F4 and Formula Regionals European and Middle East Series, competed in Formula 2 for Prima Racing this past season. Antonelli will compete alongside George Russell, who first joined Mercedes in 2022 and whose contract with the Silver Arrows organization runs through the conclusion of the 2025 season. For a 3rd consecutive season, the Aston Martin Aramco F1 team will retain its current driver roster, which consists of Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll. Both notched a combined 94 points and contributed to the team settling in 5th place in the constructors' standings for a 2nd consecutive season. Alonso inked a multi-year contract extension with Aston Martin this past April to keep him with the team through the 2026 season. Stroll, competing with the organization since 2019, inked a contract extension to remain with the team through the 2026 season. The BWT Alpine. F1 team rallied over the final 4 events on the schedule and capped off the season with momentum by muscling up to 6th place with 65 points. Pierre Gasly managed to overtake Nico Hülkenberg for 10th place in the final driver's standings by a single point. Alpine did not retain Esteban Ocon for the 2025 season, and newcomer Jack Doohan replaced him during the finale in Abu Dhabi. Doohan spent the previous 2 seasons as Alpine's reserve driver and notched 6 victories in Formula 2. He will partner with Gasly, who inked a multi-year contract extension this past June to remain at Alpine beyond 2025. After plummeting to dead last in the 2023 constructors' standings, the MoneyGram Haas F1 team rallied by climbing 3 spots to 7th place in this year's constructors' standings and racking up its second highest accumulated points to a season at 58 following a year-long battle to nearly crack the top 6 mark. Amid a successful 2024 season, both Nico Hülkenberg and Kevin Magnussen have parted ways with Haas. The competitors who will represent Haas for next season are Oliver Bearman and Esteban Ocon. Bearman was promoted to a maiden F1 campaign after he spent this past season competing in Formula 2 for Prema Racing and serving as a reserve competitor for both Haas and Ferrari. Meanwhile, Ocon joins Haas following a 5-year campaign at Alpine. With a rebranded identity and a mid-season swap of a veteran notable for the return of an eventual Red Bull-promoted driver, the Visa Cash App RBF1 team, which is set to be labeled Racing Bulls in 2025, capped off the 2024 F1 season in 8th place in the constructors' standings for a second consecutive season. Yuki Tsunoda, who nearly doubled his recorded points from his previous season at 30, notched a career-high 9 top 10 results, and claimed a new points result in the standings from 14th to 12th. Tsunoda also notched a season-best trio of 7th-place results in 2024. In 2025, Visa Cash App Racing Bulls lineup will consist of Tsunoda and Isaac Hadjar, the latter of whom is Red Bull's reserve competitor, and is coming off a runner-up result in the final standings to the 2024 Formula 2 season while competing for Campos Racing. In 2025, the organization welcomes Carlos Sainz, who departed Ferrari after 4 seasons despite recording 4 Grand Prix victories over the previous 3 seasons, including 2 this season. Sainz is set to compete alongside Alexander Albon, who inked a multi-year contract extension in May to remain at Williams through 2027. Amid Sainz's first entrance as a Williams competitor, Franco Colapinto will not have an F1 ride for the 2025 season. In 2025, the team's driver lineup will consist of Nico Hülkenberg, who departed Haas after 2 seasons, and Gabriel Bortoleto, the latter of whom achieved both the 2024 Formula 2 Championship and the 2023 Formula 3 Championship. While Valtteri Bottas returns to Mercedes as a reserve competitor, Zhou Guanyu is uncertain about next season. Like the previous season, the 2025 FIA Formula 1 World Championship season will feature 24 Grand Prix events that span across 21 countries and 5 continents in 10 months. The 2025 season commences with the Australian Grand Prix at Albert Park Circuit in Melbourne, Australia, which will occur on March 16th.